In this day and age, the subject of rehabilitation of ex-offenders and the cutting down of recidivism in our country is top of mind. It is issue number one, which is why we welcome our special guest, Michael Johninson of Compassion in Action, because no one works closer to this than you do in Central Arkansas. It's good to have you here.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, we're going to start with your story. You tell how much you're comfortable telling,
Okay.
But you are an example of someone who has come back. Tell us that story.
Well, being raised in a environment, drug-free, alcohol-free, church was one of the major components of my upbringing. And school was another. My mother believed in education, and she believed that her children needed to have a relationship with God.
Wow.
And it was, if you played sick, too sick to go to church on Sunday, you didn't have to worry about going to the boys club or the YMCA during the week.
Because you're going to
be sick the whole week.
It sounds like you had such a strong upbringing that going bad, if you are offended by that term, forgive me, going bad would not be a possibility. But it happened to you, didn't it?
It did happen. My slip and stumble was when I got out of the foundation that I was raised upon, and I began to do things and hang out with people that growing up, she would say, I don't want to see that boy at my house no more.
Oh, wow.
You know? And these things came by way of her observing the people that I was around. And she instilled in me and my brothers and sisters that we can be anything we wanted to be.
Wow, but you turned away from that.
I turned away from it, not intentional, because I always considered or thought that I would still be walking with the Lord. But that's, a fallacy that we've convinced ourselves, because you're either on the Lord's side or you're on the enemy's side. And I had to come to understand what that really meant. And when I found myself in trouble with drugs, not so much alcohol, but with drugs was where my downfall came.
But now you were incarcerated. Do you mind talking about that?
I ended up in prison, knowing that that was not my fate in life. That's where I really turned things around.
Now that brings us to Compassion in Action. How has your experience helped rehabilitate? Do we say ex-offenders? You don't say ex-cons. You have warned me about the terminology.
Well, ex-offenders is a little softer, because when we look at people, we want people to have some dignity. We want them to feel worth something, not worth less. I'm able to help them to understand just how important God is to their reaching their potential in life.
Wow. Well, I'll have you know, I have talked to some of the men that you have worked with.
Okay.
Your methods are working, and
Praise
we congratulate you. And
thank you.
On behalf of all of Arkansas and all of America, thanking you for your commitment to being on what amounts to the front lines in bringing these people back.
Well, I appreciate it, Greg. I just want to be a vehicle that God can use, to be a one that helps someone see that there's a better way. And it's a better way that you will enjoy life. We could never plan our lives better than what God can plan it. We can never have more than what God has for us to have.
And that's why this is called Compassion in Action. Michael, thank you.
Thank you, Craig.